Good morning. My name is Anatoliana Chalisova, and this is Patriots Must Rise. Um, we got a lot to talk about today, but in short, I figured out what the transing our kids is really all about, and it's ugly, very ugly. Um, in the description, I have a link to the production notes and all of the books that I'm actually going to be talking about. So please go there and listen for yourself. They're all audiobooks. Okay. First of all, in Dinesh D'Souza's Death of a Nation, The Big Lie, and Stealing America, he talks about how the welfare system was designed by the Democrats to enslave the population that is on the welfare system to vote for them. Okay. I want you to keep that in mind because that's actually very important. Now let's go to Mike Walsh's What is a Woman? A documentary that the Daily Wire produced that poses a very simple question that apparently the left wants to become very difficult to answer. Well, in that documentary, there's an interview with a healthcare professional that points out that this so-called gender reaffirming or gender affirming care or whatever they want to call it, basically butchering our kids, is a multi-billion-dollar industry per year. Okay, multi-billion-dollar industry, because once the surgery is done, the person is constantly under some kind of medical and psychiatric care to keep them from getting sick and even committing suicide. The left knows this. They know this very, very well. Actually, that's what they planned. So they're targeting our kids and trying to keep the parents out of it, so the parents don't have a say in the matter. So they have a generation that will basically be trapped because they will not be no insurance is going to cover this kind of care. Not for any long term, unless it's state provided insurance because of their agenda. So we have this very minor, like 0.05% of the American population that identifies as trans, that they're trying to grow. That's why they're pushing transgenderism in the schools. That's why they're trying to make it so parents don't have a say in how their kids are actually actually taken care of by a doctor. And apparently they want the kid to have a say in how this goes down, but in no other part of their life are they actually rendered culpable by the law. In other words, they have no mens rea, no accountability for anything else in their life. But on this one issue, they actually do, because it actually helps the Democrat Party. I know. People are saying this is way far-fetched. There's no precedent for it. Really? Okay, let me take you to 1992. Two things happened in 1992. Number one, Bill Clinton got elected president. Number two, there was a outbreak of E. coli that almost put Jack in the Box out of business. Okay. President of Jack in the Box, Robert Nugent at the time, was very vocal, along with his vice president, Jim Marson, about how bad of a president they felt that Bill Clinton would be. Glenn Beck talks about how Bill Clinton actually didn't make the front runner in the primaries of 1992. He actually had to fight for it, along with Mark Levin and Dinesh D'Souza. And yet, if you Google it, unless you word it a very specific way, you cannot find this information. And Google's very good about shaping the narrative, so we shouldn't be surprised by this. Anyway, the president and vice president of Jack in the Box are bad mouthing Bill Clinton. He almost didn't make it to the general election. And in retaliation, there's a convenient outbreak. Okay. Now, I think I need to point out that the founder of Jack in the Box, sold the Food Makers Inc. in 1968 to Ralston Purina. Ralston Purina in 1992 had some really big investors. One of the primary investors happened to be Bill Clinton. He owned over 156 million shares of the company. So you would think that he would actually have some kind of say in how this company was being run. Okay. So Ralston Purina is supplying the food or the meat for Jack in the Box. And And conveniently, the biggest E. coli outbreak in my lifetime happens. Over 732 women and children are murdered, basically because a Democrat didn't like how somebody was talking about them. So there is precedent. Hold on.
700 people weren't killed. 4 people died.
No.
600 people were sick.
732 people were affected by it.
Affected, yes. They weren't killed.
Okay, I do need to. It couldn't have been only 4 people, but okay, fact check that. My point being, there is definitely precedent for this mutilation of children for the purpose of drawing them into the web of the Democrat, into the Democrat bullshit. And it's evil. Now let's move forward. Okay. Hillary Clinton recently said that anybody that does not or supports Trump needs to be re-educated. 1984, anybody? Is this sounding familiar? This George Orwellian narrative has basically become our reality. So we have Hillary's statement a week into Joe Biden's presidency. He says that if Americans felt that they needed to go up against the United States government, they're not going to need AR-15s. They're going to need F-15s and nukes. Basically declaring war on half the country. All right, so we definitely have a precedent here, and we definitely have a pattern that has been developed. They don't care about life. I mean, these are the advocates of pro-choice, the advocates of murdering your children anyway. From 1963 to 1993. Okay, yeah. Four deaths in the Jacobacci E. coli scare. 700 people
got sick.
Got sick. Several. Yeah, it was bad. But that wasn't unprecedented either. Okay. Andrew Jackson's Democrats, or the people that identified as Andrew Jackson's Democrats, decided that it was more than okay if an abortion was happening on a reservation to sterilize the woman. And that happened all the way up to, I believe, 2000. Dinesh D'Souza talks about that in 3 different books: Death of a Nation, The Big Lie, and Stealing America. So anybody that actually tells you that this is the party that is for the people needs to just read a history book. Okay. I've had people tell me that somewhere along the line there was a switch of ideology, that the founders of the Ku Klux Klan no longer believed in what they once preached. And that now the racists are the conservatives, are the Republicans. Dinesh D'Souza blows that out of the water in all three of those books that I just talked about. The links are in the description. Then we have The Great Reset by Glenn Beck. He talks, he outlines the polarization and political weaponization of the COVID-19 virus and the lockdowns, and specifically why the lockdowns were happening. Anybody that actually believes the narrative as to why the lockdowns were happening needs to seriously open their eyes. But basically, the exercise of power, the abuse of power that has happened throughout the history of the Democrat Party is culminating to this moment. At no time in our history have we actually seen a political opponent being criminally indicted for practicing free speech. Not in America. But at the same time, the rest of the world is seeing it. Austria, Germany, Poland, Russia, even Ukraine have radio stations that are constantly talking about how corrupted our government has become. And it's become this corrupted because of the fact that we're turning a blind eye. People are saying it's the government. What can we do about it? Well, first of all, you can stop paying taxes. It's not that hard to do, and it's not really against the law, even though people want you to believe that it is. If you defund the government, they don't have the power to actually act to strike out against you. Prepare for war, because that's exactly what we're going into. We have Antifa finally getting their just desserts. Over the last weekend, we had an Antifa thug stabbed to death for being a thug. And of course, the left is trying to paint him as an activist poet, 18-year-old kid. No, he's a thug. He's a fucking Democrat thug. He does not deserve to live. And that's the way we need to look at it across the board. These people have been fighting against the against the very fabric of America since the founding of the Democrat Party. Mark Levin's book, How or Why the Democrats Hate America, outlines it perfectly. I didn't put that into a description. I will when I'm done here. Please, guys, stock up on food. Get to know your neighbors. Get involved in some way in your community, because if you end up missing and nobody knows who you are, they successfully made you disappear. And that's exactly what Joseph Stalin was doing during his reign. That's exactly what Adolf Hitler did. And yes, I am comparing the Democrats to Joseph Stalin and Adolf Hitler because, well, read the books. That's exactly who they are. Now let's get into fascism. The left is constantly saying that the conservative right are fascists. Okay. First of all, Benito Mussolini, the founder of fascism, defined fascism as a marriage between private industry and government authority. That does not sound like a conservative at all, does it? How could it? A conservative doesn't want any bigger government than absolutely necessary. And some of us don't even believe that any of it's necessary. Okay. Fascism stems from socialism. And I have never met a conservative that considers themselves a socialist. So just think about that. Anyway, that's what I have for today. I'm going to be airing about this time, give or take, every Tuesday Pacific Standard, because that's all I have time to do for now. But I hope that you enjoy this broadcast. Please like, subscribe, and until next time, live free, die well, and love your neighbor as Christ loved you.